Sports here. Today we're going to be talking about the trade deadline that just happened March 5th, which was yesterday. So there were a lot of trades in this one, a lot of unexpected trades. We're going to be reviewing most of the trades, most important ones, and the ones that will affect the teams the most. So the first trade of the day was pretty much the biggest trade of the whole trade deadline, and that was the blockbuster deal with the Rangers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Martin St. Louis to the New York Rangers for Ryan Callahan, a first and a second. And they were saying yesterday that if Ryan Callahan extends his contract with the Lightning, that the Rangers will get another pick as well. So what do you guys think about that trade?
Overall, I think it will benefit Tampa Bay in the long run. I think St. Louis, it will help the Rangers this year for their offense. But yeah, in the long run, Callahan first, a second round pick. He's still got a lot of years left, Callahan, so I think Tampa Bay gets the better of that deal.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay won that deal just based on the draft picks that they got, so they build up for their future. St. Louis, after this year, who knows what's going to happen, and they have Callahan. They got the toughness to add to their team.
Yeah, I think this was an absolute steal for Tampa. As much as I like St. Louis and Stamkos, I still think Tampa Bay made the right decision here. I do think that the Rangers could be contenders going to the playoffs.
Well, I think the New York Rangers might have won that trade, not in the long run sense, but for short term, because, they did get St. Louis, and it looks like that they're willing and wanting to win the Cup, whether or not they will. But Tampa Bay is going to be strong in the years to come, hopefully, and if Callahan will sign with them. They will miss his scoring ability, since St. Louis has 61 points and counting. That's a lot compared to Callahan. And another problem that New York will have to face is this year not going with a captain anymore. They're going with, I believe it's 3 assistant captains. So they're not going to miss some leadership from Callahan there.
In terms of age, do you think that's a big factor? Like, honestly, a lot of people are saying that that trade was a bit ridiculous because St. Louis only has a couple of years left in the NHL. And yeah, he is a very talented player. He is a good leader as well. But, Ryan Callahan, I think, has, 7 years on him or something like that. And, like you said, very good leader. And I just think the Rangers overall lost that trade in terms of just everything. I think Rangers, they want to win the Cup now, but Tampa Bay's looking towards the future. So both teams looking at going different ways. And next trade we're going to talk about is a trade that really surprised me in terms of the player being traded for, again, one team I think got ripped off in this trade. It was Gaborik to Los Angeles for Matt Frattin and 2 picks. Honestly, Gaborik is a superstar in my mind. When he's healthy, he can get, 2 seasons ago, you said, he got 40 goals, he got, 80-something points, and of course, Matt Frattin, former Leaf, barely played on the Kings. I think he only played about 20 games on their team. Getting the picks, it might do well, for Columbus, but, they're getting rid of one of their top stars in Gaborik. But what do you guys think on that trade?
It didn't really work out in Columbus for Gaborik, but if he can stay healthy in LA, I think he'll be a serious offensive threat there.
Yeah.
I think of all the trades, this is probably a more balanced trade. Both teams got something good out of it. Columbus got some draft picks. They got Frattin, who can be on the 3rd or 4th line. And LA has scoring from Gaborik, who can help them in the playoffs.
No, like you said, I think Gaborik is going to be a really good offensive threat in LA. Like I said in the first video, I thought LA needed one more score. So now they've added that. So now I just want to see what Gaborik can do with all these good players around him now.
It's going to be interesting to see what Gaborik can add to them. Even though with all his scoring abilities, it's going to be interesting to see how he'll play under a coach like Sutter in LA. Such a hard, tough coach. It's going to be interesting to see how he can react. He had to deal with Torts in New York, but we can only wait and see what's going to happen in LA.
As well, another trade that a lot of people in Toronto were not happy about is the Thomas Vanek deal. The Leafs, they were going to deal Nikolai Kulemin for Vanek. They said no. So now we got Thomas Vanek for Sebastian Cobberg and a second-round pick.
Conditional second.
Conditional second-round pick. And I think, again, they just needed to get rid of Vanek. I don't really think they didn't really, they wanted him from the beginning, but now they knew Vanek wasn't going to sign, so they just wanted to get rid of him for scraps, I guess. But if I were the Montreal Canadiens, I'd be very happy with this deal. How about you guys? What do you think on this one?
At first, they wanted way too much for Vanek, and counting down to the deadline, the price just keep dropping, and they ended up just getting a prospect and a second, maybe. So Vanek can score some goals. I think he'll be a decent fit in Montreal.
I don't think he's even going to sign with Montreal too. Maybe that's why the price was that low. So he'll help them short term, but long term, it's one of those trades that would be a write-off.
Yeah, Garth Snow, I think, just put himself in this hole right now. He gave up a first-round pick in the Vanek deal as well. I knew he wasn't going to sign either with the Islanders. I'm pretty sure everyone else could have seen that as well. Montreal, I think he's gonna work good with Pacioretty if he's on the same line as him, and I think Montreal got the better of that.
Thomas Vanek, he will add some scoring power, but I don't think he'll be that good of a fit because he's not very big, but he is a bigger guy. He doesn't have possibly as much speed as some of the guys on the Canadiens do, and I don't think it was worth it in the sense for them because if they might not even make the playoffs with Carey Price's injuries, to go and take that risk in grabbing him because he's not going to sign. Maybe if he went to Minnesota or LA, for sure they would have been able to keep him because he wanted to play there in the first place. So I think they kind of lost out on this trade.
2 more deals we're going to talk about today, guys. And these deals really, they're going to change. It's obviously changed the landscape. First deal is Matt Moulson to Minnesota. What do you guys think on that trade?
Moulson, you put him on a line with maybe Parise, Palmerville. Similar with Gaborik, he can do a lot of stuff there. They can make some noise.
I think it adds a lot of depth to their team and help them out in the playoffs.
I just think they keep improving offensively, and they're just going to continue to be. They've already won. I think they've won 5 straight now. Ever since even coming when they were going into the Olympics, they had a 2-game winning streak. They've won 3 straight now. Now they're adding Moulson. It's unfortunate. I really thought they were adding Matt Moulson to the lineup. He can be. Their offensive depth is they have so many good forwards that he's probably going to be 3rd or 2nd line because they have guys like Palmerville, Parise, Koivu's just returned from injury. Charlie Coyle's been getting boosted with his ice time. Same with Michael Granlund as well. So I think adding Matt Moulson is just gonna. I think they're gonna make the playoff now thanks to that move.
Yeah, I like this move for Minnesota as well. I just think now they have a lot of depth within their lineup now. And just on a side note, Buffalo Sabres, I think they made the best of a bad situation. They're sticking now to their, not really to tanking in my mind, but, they still have Chris Stewart right now, but now they know that they have to rebuild in the future, and getting rid of Moulson was probably the best decision for them.
Matt Moulson, great player, really going to be a good fit for Minnesota. He's proved that he can play with some of the best players in the world. One of the best players, John Tavares. And, it goes to show you that he will fit and he can play on practically any line on that team. So, he's going to have a real fun time playing there. And, Buffalo, they're going to have to regroup. They got a lot of draft picks this deadline. And, we'll see what the future holds for Buffalo.
Last one we're going to talk about today. In terms of the big trade that happened last Friday with Ryan Miller going to St. Louis, Yaroslav Halak, Chris Stewart going to Buffalo, Steve Ott going to St. Louis as well. Now they made another trade, Yaroslav Halak going to Washington for Michael Neuvirth. I saw this coming. I don't know if you guys did. I saw this coming. What do you guys think on that whole deal?
I think Michael Neuvirth to Buffalo is a good sign for them, building for the future, because Neuvirth is a lot younger and he can maybe carry them for a couple more years.
For this one too, just same thing for Buffalo. Just to flip Halak after. Just think it just goes back to the rebuilding stages now, but. Forget about the Edmonton Oilers dynasty. I think Buffalo could have a dynasty in the future. We'll wait and see.
Well, with that whole trade, St. Louis now has become an absolute powerhouse to deal with. They were a powerhouse before. They're going to be even stronger now. Brian Miller had such great goaltending. Steve Ott adds more grit and grind to the team. And, the Buffalo fans are going to have to put up with probably not the greatest teams for the next couple of years, but, in the long run, it will probably be worth it for them.
Last trade we want to talk about today. I found this trade pretty funny. Just overall, Vancouver, they just keep going down and down and down. I'm surprised they didn't deal Ryan Klesla at the trade deadline. They probably could have gotten a lot from Philly, but they didn't. And then all of a sudden, their top goalie's gone, Roberto Luongo, after missing the Heritage Classic. I guess he wanted out, and he got his wish, and he's back on his old team Florida. What do you guys think on that deal?
This trade to me would have made perfect sense if it happened last year when they still had Schneider, because they'd be dumping Luongo's contract and they have Markstrom as a backup. For now, they just have Halak and Markstrom, and it's going to be a long rebuild.
Yeah, I think Mark Gillis needs to be fired as soon as possible for making that trade, because Luongo was like their star goalie for now. They don't have Schneider to go as a backup. Now they're just in net. There's a question mark.
Yeah, I got no idea what Gillis was thinking on this one, or like throughout the last year. Just made some horrible decisions. He got Horvat, but looking at it right now, he has too much for Kessler as well. So I think he should have dealt Kessler as well. Just would have made perfect sense. You already would have got rid of your goalie. So I don't know. Tough. I can see some tough times in Vancouver.
Vancouver fans, I feel your pain. It's not going to be a good couple of years. Losing Luongo should have been done last year. Now that you got two backup goalies as your goalies, good luck surviving in that Western Division with all that scoring power. Ryan Kessler, you could have got quite a bit for him, and you didn't. You overvalued him probably a little too much. And, Roberto Luongo is happier that he's not having to deal with all the crap in Vancouver with the goalie drama anymore. So I think he's happy, and Vancouver's screwed.
I just want to conclude with Tortorella. Honestly, ever since you've gone to Vancouver, their team has just plummeted. They've gone off the map. They went from being President's Trophy winners to just going down and down. Like, I understand you extend Sedin's 4 years. That's a good deal.
That deal starts next year, though. That 4 years starts next year, and they're both getting hurt like crazy.
Ever since you started Eddie Lack in the Heritage Classic, I had a feeling Luongo would want to be gone, but like you said, it was the perfect opportunity last year. Schneider, he's now starting in New Jersey. He's kind of proven himself to be a starter. I think he's always been a starting goalie. And you got rid of Schneider at the draft. When you made that deal, I thought you were going to keep Luongo long term, but I guess not. So now you have to rely on two backup goalies. So it's going to be hard for the Vancouver Canucks. I think they're going to have a long, long process of building. And that's it, guys, for today's video. Check out our video we did. The last video, we were talking about who we thought would be gone, and this is a video of who went at the trade deadline. Thanks guys for watching this video. Comment, like, subscribe. CNGA Sports on Twitter. Follow it. Thanks guys for watching. Take it easy.